Okay, let's welcome to Selenium training session 2. So in this session I will cover operation on web page, operation on browsers, operation on web edit box, and operation on link, and what are the different operation we can perform on image, checkbox, and radio button. Okay, in the first session you already gone through like what is all about Selenium WebDriver, how we can do the installation, right? What is all about different element locator. Okay, so I mean I already shared the PPT and then the code with you, so try to practice it, and in case any problem is there, so I mean revert back so that I can help you out to solve your queries. Okay, so what are the different web page operation available in Selenium WebDriver, right? So these are the primarily three operations available in the as part of web page operation in Selenium WebDriver. First we can get the titles, right? To return the title of the current browser with the help of get titles methods available in Selenium WebDriver. Then we can get the HTML page source of the current focus browsers with the help of get page source method, and also with the help of get current URL method we can get the current URL of the focus browser. So I will show you how we can use these three different web page operations in Selenium WebDriver. So in the last session I already let you know how we can create the project, right? First you need to click on the file, then new and Java project. Once the project is created successfully, so last session we have created the project Selenium Training 2020, and after the project is created, right, the src file will be created by default, under which we can create multiple packages, and in the multiple packages we can create multiple classes, right? And we after the project is created successfully, we need to associate, right, the Selenium WebDriver here. If it is not associated, you can still do it. You need to click on the Java build path, and you can see here Selenium server standalone jar file. You can add it, right? How you can add it? You need to click on the add external jars, then you need to select the relevant jar file, right? So here it is placed in my desktop, this standalone jar file, so you can already associate it, and you need to click on the apply and close. Okay, so after your src file is created and you are associating the Selenium WebDriver, then you need to right click on the src file, and then you need to click on the packages, right? Here you need to click in packages. Once the package is successfully created, you need to right click on the packages, then you need to click on the create on the class. So here I will create another class, right, session 2. You need to select public static void main string argument method, that is the main method available in Java class. So you can see, right, so in the project we have created two packages, and in the first packages we have created the class, right? So it's in the session 2, no code is available right now. So if you suppose if you want to extract the code, right, and say your Eclipse is not working, how can you get it, right? So you already know, right? Here if you go to the properties, you can get the path, right? You can see here this is the path, right? So first you can go to the workspace. So here I already opened that folder, right? C drive, users, my name, and then workspace. So you need to go to the workspace. Then if you click on the workspace, because in the workspace all the project is getting saved, whatever project I have created so far, that is the location whenever you selected, right? So here you can see the project Selenium Training 2020 is already there, and in the src folder if you open it, you can see these are the two packages, right, created. You can see here in the packages is Selenium Training and Test Selenium 20, right? These are the two packages created. If you open the Selenium Training, so you can see two class, session 1 is already there and session 2 I already created today, right? So in the session 2 no code is available, only whatever public method you have written, so it is coming, right? It is matching exactly, you can see it should match. But in the session 1, last session, we already created so many codes, right, for identifying different kind of web element locators, right? Like it can be partial text, ID, name, right, as well as tag name. So you can get all the code. So that is the important in case your Eclipse is not working, and if you want to share with someone the code, right, you can still get it from the workspace, right? So that is the basic advantage. So whatever lines of code you are writing, it is storing in the workspace location, and in the under the SRC folder, under that particular project SRC folder, then packages, and then the class. So class by default extension will be Java class, because you are creating the Java class here, right? Whenever selecting in the package, and if you are creating new class is Java class. So that is the class is Java. That is the reason extension is .java. Okay. Now, I mean, in the last session I already showed you how we can, right, launch the Chrome browsers and how we can get any web page, right? So you need to first set the properties of the Chrome drivers, webdriver.chrome.driver, and this is the path, right, for the Chrome driver. So here in the desktop I already saved my Chrome driver. That is the Chrome driver.exe. If you want to get the path, you need to click on the properties, so you can get the path here, right? C user, username, then desktop, then slash Chrome driver, and this is the exe file. So that is the reason I have given the path here. Then you need to use the WebDriver interface, and you need to create an object or instance, right? And you need to instantiate the Chrome drivers, right? So here you can see you need to import WebDriver, right, and also Chrome driver. Chrome driver is a class. I can import it from the org.openql.selenium.chrome packages, and also WebDriver is the right interface, what can be imported from org.openql.selenium. Okay. So once the import is successful, there is no error messages there. After that, with the help of that particular object or instance, we need to maximize the driver, and we need to pass the URL, right, for Google's. So once the Google is launched, then I can get the title, right? So once I get the title, I can directly print it out. So that is the command, right, for print it out, SYSO system out.println, and I can get the driver for printing out driver.get, right, titles. Similarly, if I want to get the page source also, I also use that same code, and instead of that I will be using driver.get page source. Current URL I can store in different variables. So variable name is, suppose say, current URL equal to driver dot get current URL, right? You can see the variable type is string, right? You can see here, right, get current URL. It is return type is string. Okay, so you have to store it in the string variable. That's why you can get the type of the return, right? So I will be storing in the string. So no need to worry. Okay, you can get it, and you can see still it is some warning is there because I did not use that variable anywhere. So I need to print it out simply. SYSO, type SYSO, then press Ctrl spacebar, and you simply need to print it out. Okay. So it will be, now if you run the code, you can see first it will be opening the Chrome driver, Chrome browsers, then it will maximize the browsers, it will open the Google page, then it will print the titles, it will get the page source and it will print it, it will get the current URL and it will print it. These are the three different web page operations available in the Selenium WebDriver. Okay. So first, get title, you can get the title of the current browser. There can be multiple browser, I can open it, right? But with that particular thing, we can get the current URL, title of the current browser. Similarly, get page source, it will return me the HTML page source of the current focus browser. Similarly, with the help of get current URL, I can get the current URL of the focus browsers. So if you run it, you can see it is launching the Chrome browsers and they are maximizing browsers, then it is opening the Google page, right? And in the output you can see all the thing, right? So here it is the current URL, right, of the Google page. This is the current URL, this is the page source, it is printing out, and the first one is it will print out the titles of the page. Okay. sometimes it's create problems, so we can discard that particular code for page source, because so this is huge, it is taking huge page, right? You can see page source used to take. So if you comment it out the page source, so you can get the right, that way you can comment it out, right? I already showed how to comment it out. You need to double slash for a single line to comment out the code, so that the code will never be, I mean whenever you are running it will not be considered, or you can select the line of code and you can add block comment. Okay, so if you run it, so that particular page source will not be, because you can already use it to get the page source of the particular web page. So it will give you the title and the current URL only. Okay, so it's open the Google page. If you right, you can see the title is coming as Google, right? The get title, and the current URL is that particular URL is the current URL. So these are the different web page operation we can perform, right? Then next is what are the most API commands available for a browser in Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so let's comment out the code. These 3 lines of code, I will comment it out first, so that it will not be removed, right, from the Eclipse class, but it will be there, but it will not be considered, right? So first one is navigate to the intended web page, right? Get is the method name, right? You can see here through get we are navigating to the web page, right? So that is already covered here. Divert.get, I need to pass the URL, because URL is the string, that is the reason we are right entering in the double quote. So any string we need to enter in the double quote, right? Variable value, string value. But if you declare it right anywhere, so no need to, right? You can directly, you can see here I have declared and stored into the variable. So variable, there is no double quote is required, right? But whenever you are directly entering it, double quote is required. Okay, similar way to close the focus browser, right? I think in the last session I already showed, again I will show you, whenever you are opening any web page, if you want to close it, so you can use the close method. So divert.close, and if you are opening multiple browsers at the same times, so instead of close you will need to use quit method. So I mean in most of the interview that questions came, right, how you can close the single browsers, how you can close multiple browsers opened by your WebDriver, right? In case if you want to quit all the browser, close all the browser, you have to use the quit method instead of close. So here we are opening only one browser, so it does not matter whether it's close or quit. Then if you want to navigate from one URL to another, you have to use navigate.to method. If you again navigate back to the previous URL, you have to use navigate.back method. And if you again want to forward it again one times, right, to move single item forward in the browser history, you need to use navigate.forward. If you want to refresh the content of the current web page, sometime you know, right, whenever you are opening any web page, sometimes it does not refresh properly, right? You need to again refresh it, right, because of the some of the things some of the properties did not loaded fully. So you can use it navigate.refresh. If you want to maximize the focus browser, you have to use manage.window.maximize. So that is already covered, right? Divert.manage.window.maximize. Okay, now I already get to a current particular URL, right? Then I want to navigate to other URL. So divert.navigate, right, dot to, okay, and then you need to give the string, right, URL. So I want to navigate to, suppose say from Google to Facebook. So as it is string, I need to give it to double inverted comma. Okay, then I want to again, after navigating, I want to right back. So divert.navigate.back. Okay, again I need to go to forward direction, right? So divert.navigate.forward. Okay, and after that I need to close or quit the driver. So divert.quit or close, anything is fine. Okay, and if you want to refresh it again, so I will use divert.refresh. Sorry, divert. navigate dot refresh dot navigate dot refresh. So it will refresh the page again. Okay. So every operation will be doing, it will be fast, you will not able to see, right? So I will wait for some time, right? How you can wait? Thread dot sleep. So actually thread dot sleep is not important, I mean not the good practice to use, but if you are the starter, so if you want to validate each and everything, so you can use it, right? So I will use 2 seconds, so 2000 milliseconds. Whenever you are using sleep, you can see here some error message will come, you have to use some surround with try catch block, you have to throw some declaration, right? If you declared some exceptions, so it will handle. So for each and every operation I will wait for 2 seconds so that I can view, right, the each operation is taking place or not. Then after I refresh, it will wait for 2 seconds and then it will close it, right? So first it will open the Google page, wait for 2 seconds, it will go to the Facebook page, then again it will back to Google page, then again it will go to the Facebook page, and then refresh the page, then it will quit or close the browser. So that is the line of code I have written so far. Okay. So after navigating to the Facebook page, right? So here I can say I want to print out the title, right? So driver dot title, driver dot get title. Similarly, after navigating to Facebook page also I want to get the title, so that is my verification point, right? So I will get the Facebook title, here I will get the Google title, here I will get the Facebook title. So let's run the code and let's see what is happening. So it will first open the Chrome browsers, so Google page will open, after that it will wait for 2 seconds, if Facebook page is opening, once the page is fully loaded it will wait for 2 seconds, then again it will back the browser, that means it is going to the Google page, again wait for 2 seconds, it will forward the browsers, that means it will going to the Facebook page, after Facebook page is loaded it will refresh the browsers again, refresh means just F5, right? So it will go to the Facebook page, once the page is loaded it will quit the browser. So that is the line of code I have written and my code is working fine, and you can see. So here I want to get the titles after loading the Google, so it is coming as Google, and here after loading the Facebook page I want to get the title, so it is coming, right, Facebook. So that are the different, right, browsers API commands available in the web browsers. So get, we can get the web page, internet web page, we can close the browser, we can close multiple browser through quit, we can navigate to URL, we can navigate back to using navigate.back method, we can forward it again, navigate.forward, we can refresh the web page, navigate.refresh, we can maximize it, right? So that these are the most API important command available in Selenium WebDriver. So are you able to hear me properly, right? Are you able to? Hello? Hello, Ankur, are you able to get me right?
Hello.
Yeah.
Your voice is not audible properly. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. I am able to get it.
Okay, that's fine then. Okay. So I thought that I am missing something. Okay. Then I will show you what are the different operations we can perform on web edit box. So in the last session I already showed you how to inspect the element after opening any web page, right, and how we can identify whether a particular field is a edit field, right? We can edit something, right? So these are the different, methods available for any web edit field. First is like send keys, right? So you already seen, right, if you want to add something we have to use send keys method to enter a value in the editable text box. Then if you want to return the object type of that particular text box, you need to use get attribute method. And if you want to return the display status, whether the field is displaying or not, you have to use is display method. And if you want to check whether the field is enabled or not, sometimes edit field is, the text field is there, right, but it is disabled, right? You don't want to, you can't enter any value in case it is disabled. So you can first check the status of the field, right? First you will check whether the field is there or not at all. In case there is field is not there, there is no point of inspecting the field and checking the is enabled or not. So after the field is displayed, then you will check whether the field is enabled or not. Then you will definitely send some keys value, and you can also get the return type of the particular element. And also after entering the some value, if you want to clear the value, so you can use the clear method, right, to clear already entered value in the editable text box. So here so here if I open the Facebook page, right, you can see this is the editable text box. I can add something, right? In the password field also I can add something, okay, but you need to inspect the element, right, first, okay. Or so I will add the URL for Facebook page. First I want to open it, so I will change the, okay, the URL for Facebook page, and I will comment the remaining line of code here. Okay, so I am opening the Facebook page first. After that I want to identify a particular element, right? So this is the email address or phone number. So you need to press F12 button from the keyboard, right? And so there will be inspector element, right? You need to click on that and you need to highlight it, that particular field, right? So you can see there are a lot of emails and a lot of different attributes coming, right? Name is email, ID is email. So I can easily identify with unique attribute. In case unique attributes you are not able to find it, then you have to create your own XPath or CSS selector through which you can identify that particular element, right? So I can identify with the help of email, right? So I will identify here first the element I will identify, right? Driver dot find element by dot ID. I will identify what is the ID. This is the ID, right? Okay. So here, so again I am doing another thing, driver dot find element, right? You can see the find element return type is web element, so I need to store it web element, right? So here I will be using some web element class, okay, available in Selenium WebDriver, and I need to store in some variable. So suppose variable name is, so I need to use it properly, right? Email, okay, email address, that is the variable where I am storing it, okay. You can see some error messages coming. We need to import the web element class from the org.openqr.selenium packages, right? Okay. So after the variable is stored, right, I can setting all the properties stored in the variable, then I can add some value here. If you type the variable, then press dot, you can see all the method is coming, right, for that particular variables, right? You can see all the method is coming. So I can add some value, right? So using the send key you can add some value. You can see send key. So I want to add some value called send key. Suppose say username test, that is the value I want to add it, right? Okay. After adding, yeah.
Sorry, sir. Like you said that email address dot send keys. This one is like not clear properly.
Okay. First I am, you already know, right? Driver dot find element by dot ID, right? I am entering the ID, right? And I already, one second, again I am showing you driver dot find element, right? So you can see this is the method, right? Driver element, and return type is, what is the return type? Web element, right? So I am using web element return type, and I am storing in variable email address. So there is no point of typing this, right? Every time I will not type this thing, yes. So I will simply use that particular variable. Then using the variable I can perform all the operation, right? Yesterday I was doing the operation, right? Driver dot find element, suppose say, okay, by dot id, suppose id was email, say, okay, and if you write it and if you type it here, you can see all the operation is coming, right? So every time if you want to perform the same operation for the same field, right, different operation for the same field, you have to type the same line of code again and again and again, right? So I will not write the same line of code. Okay, so that is the reason. Okay, so after that it will enter the send keys. After that, if you want to clear the value, so again you need to use that particular reference, right? Then you need to simply clear the value. You can value will be cleared. Okay, then again if you want to add some value again, suppose I want to add the value after clearing it. Okay, so you can send it to test2. So every time I will wait for 2 seconds. So you can write the same code so that it will wait for 2 seconds and you can verify that it is getting cleared. Okay, after cleared, again it will enter the value. Okay, so these are the line of code. First I will identify the email field and storing into the variables email address. Then with that particular variables I am using send keys. I will wait for 2 seconds. I will clear the value and again I will enter the value, another value. Okay, so these are the line of code I have written. So here I already covered this right, send keys and clear will be verified. And so let's verify these two first. After that I will create another line of codes to verify other three methods. So it is opening the Facebook page. It will identify the field email and it will enter the value, right? Username test. Wait for 2 seconds, clearing the value, right? And again adding the value username test. Are you able to view it, Ankur? All the operations?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
it's fine, right? Why I am waiting for 2 seconds? So that you can easily verify. Otherwise it will be too fast. You will not able to visualize it, right? So this is fine. So I will comment out the line of code. Then I will show you whether how you can verify whether it's displayed or it's enabled. So you simply need to use the email address dot is displayed, right? You can see here is displayed, and is displayed will be true or false, right? It is boolean, so you have to store in some boolean variable. This is the syntax for boolean. Suppose boolean a, I am storing it. So whether it is displayed, yes or no, it will be displayed. Similarly, if I want to store whether it is enabled, so I will be storing it another variable. You can see same variable cannot be you write it 2 times, right? It is throwing some error. Okay, duplicate local variable. This is called local variable. So if you change it to B, so it will not be any problem. So here I will change it to is enabled. Okay, so I can check it, right, whether it's enabled or is displayed or not. Obviously it is not displayed, there is no point of checking it's enabled or not, right? And how you can print it out? SOI SO, right? You can print it out the A. Okay, the A. So it will give you whether it's displayed or not, and similar way you can print it out in the console whether it's displayed, enabled or not. So this is the method, right? Otherwise you will not get the console printed out, right? So you need to print it out, or if you directly want to print it out, so instead of that I am commenting out the B part. So instead of that you can directly write this code in the console, sorry, in the println, within the println. So I am not declaring any variables, right? So I am directly checking whether it is enabled or not. So if you run it, you can see both will be coming as true because the field is obviously displayed and field is also enabled. So it will give you in the console as true. Okay, so here it will not type anything because I did not write the code, but I want to check whether the field is enabled or not. You can see true and true is coming, right? So both the field are enabled and is also displayed, right? It is displayed, field is definitely there in the web page and it's enabled, right? So you can verify it. Now, right, if you want to get the attribute of that particular field, right? So how you can get the attribute? You need to use that method. This is the method name, get attribute, and you need to pass the type of the attribute, right? So if you go to that here, right, you can see here type is text, class is input text, right? ID is email, name is email. If you want to type, I mean return, if you want to get the value of that particular type, so you can need to pass the type here. Okay, so I will pass the type here. Suppose say I want to print, directly use, I will use SOISO and I will use the variable here, right? Then dot get attribute, sorry, this is the variable I have to enter here, dot get attribute, right? And I have to pass the type, right? So what is the type I want to get? I want to get the type. So type will be, it will be output as text, yp type, right? I want to get the type. Also I want to get the other value also, other attribute also. Suppose I want to get, first I want to get the type, I want to get the name. So here you want to pass, right, the attribute, and value will be displayed. I want to get the ID, I want to get, right, suppose say another one field, right, data hyphen test ID, I want to get it, data hyphen test ID. Okay, so if you run the code, you can see. So right, type will be, what will be type? Type will be text. Okay, name, what will be name? Name is email, and ID is also email, and data hyphen test ID will be royal underscore email. So that will be, output will be displayed, because this I want to get the properties of that particular field as my output, right? Because obviously whenever you coded, you only get the ID and you have inspected the element, but after inspecting the element, every time you will not inspect the element. But if you want to get all the attributes whatever available for that particular field, because it will vary, right? Each and every field will have different attribute, right? And already told, right, whenever it is an text field, your tags will start with input, right? That is the differentiator, input tag. Okay, so now if you run the code, you can see these are the four output will come. First it will give you the type and name and ID and data hyphen test ID. So it will launch in the Facebook page, it will identify the element, it will give you all the output. You can see here, right, it is coming, type is text, you can see here type is text, then name is email, right, you can see here ID is email, and then data hyphen test ID. So the data hyphen test ID is royal underscore email, right, the royal underscore email. Is it clear?
Yes.
So I mean through, I mean using that particular get attribute method, you have to pass the, right, the type whatever you want to get it, and you will get the value for each and every attribute. So that is the one important field for the text field, right, web edit field or text field. Okay, so I have already covered send keys, you can pass the value, get attribute, you can get the return, you can get the object type, different type, right, and is displayed. You can check whether the field is displayed or not at all in the web page. Whether it's the page is displayed, you can check whether the field is editable or read only. And once the value is enter, suppose if you want to clear the value and if you want to retype the value, you can clear it first and then you can retype the value again. These are the different operations you can perform on web edit in Selenium WebDriver. Then I will show you what are the different operations we can perform for a link in Selenium WebDriver. Okay, so these are the three operations we can perform. We can click the link, we can check whether the link is displayed or not, and whether this link is enabled or disabled. In case it is disabled, right, you can click it, right, just like the read only field in the web, I mean edit web edit box. Similar way, first I will check whether the field is displayed at all or not, whether the field is displayed, whether the field is enabled. In case it is field is enabled, definitely we can click the operation, we can perform the click operation on that particular link or hyperlink, right? And is last session I already told, if it is a link, the tag name will start with A, and we can identify the element by virtue of partial link text or link text, right? And definitely you can create your CSS and XPath. Definitely it will not stop you. So I am commenting out the line of code. So here you can see in that particular Facebook page there is a link, right? Forgotten password. So I want to identify the element, inspect the element, right? So it is a link. You can see the tag name is starting with A, right? I always mentioned, right? In case it is a link or hyperlink, the tag name will start with A, definitely. Okay. So I will first, right, try to identify the element, right? So I will use driver dot find element. You can see return type is web element, right? By dot link text. I will be passing the link text of the link, right? This is the text of the link. I will be passing it here. Similar way, I will be declaring some variable for the link, and I am storing in some web element, right? So what is the link name? I am giving, suppose say forgot password, FPWD. That is the variable I am declaring, okay? Where I am storing all the properties, right? How we can inspect the element? Driver dot find element by dot link text, okay? Then I want to check whether link is displayed or not. So that particular variable dot is displayed, okay? Then I can also check whether is enabled or not. Enabled or not, right? In case it is enabled, then I need to click on that link, right? So I will click on that link. So it will give you first. In case it is giving you true, then you can check it. Dot click, right? This is the operation, and these are the properties I want to get it. So similar way I already mentioned, right? You can store it into another boolean variables. Why the another variable declaration is required? Because in case if you want to use it multiple time, so with that variable reference you can use it multiple time instead of using so many line of code. So there can be chances of mistake, right? Whenever you are using repetitive lines, so it will help you. That is the reason storing. You can see here, right? If you do not store, do not create some variable for the particular field, right? You have to write the similar line of code 3 times here, right? First is for to checking whether it is displayed or not, whether it is enabled or not, and after that you need to click on that particular link, right? So if you run the code, so it will open the Facebook page, right? It will identify the forgotten password link, right, with the help of link text. Then it will check whether it is displayed or not, is enabled or not, and after that it will click on that particular web page. You can see Facebook page is opening. After that, you will click on the forgotten part. It is getting highlighted and it is going to the forgotten password link, right? That is the thing. It's working fine. And if you go to the output, you can see is displayed. Yes, is displayed. True. Is enabled. Yes, true. That is the reason. And click operation successful. And it is going to the next page. So that are the important properties, right, for any link or a hyperlink. Okay. So is it cleared? Okay, then I will cover how we can, right, identify an image in any web page and how we can perform the operation, right? So image can be, sometime it can be linked, right? Otherwise how you can perform, and in case it is not, so there is another way, right, to identify the element, image specially element. But in normal practice, in case it is an image link, right, so we can easily identify the element and we can perform the click operation, right? So images link are the link in web page represented by an image which when clicked sometimes navigate to a different window or page. Sometimes it can open another window, or sometimes it will navigate to the page. User can't use by.link text or by.partial link text method because images links basically have no link text at all. Because whenever if you want to use link text or partial link text, there should be some text, right? Particular content, right? What should be there? Otherwise, how will identify the element, right? But for images, there is no text is there available. That is the reason it is better to use CSS or XPath. Okay. So I will comment this line of code first because this is not required at all. So here you can see after clicking on the forgotten password link, right? If I open the Facebook page, then if you click on the forgotten password link, so it will navigate you to set the password, right? And here you can see images there, Facebook page, right? This is the images, and if you put the cursor here, it is showing as go to Facebook home, right? And if you want to inspect that particular image, right? So you need to select that, right? Here if you can see here it is starting with I, right? So you need to mouse over that on the Facebook page. You can see here it is starting with I, that is also image, I or IMG, right? So I need to create XPath or CSS selector because here you can see no what is there, right? This class is only given. Okay. So for that particular field you have to select it and you need to create the CSS or XPath. So I will create sessions how to create the XPath, okay, on CSS, but here I will simply copy the XPath, right? Copy and then XPath. So I will identify the element with that, right? So here I am opening the Facebook page first. After that I am clicking on the forgotten password link. Then I want to identify the element with the help of XPath and I want to click on that image. Driver.find element by .xpath and you need to enter the XPath here and add this is the link, right? Because it is also link kind of stuff. You can see here it is a link. It is going go to the Facebook page. It is giving you the URL, right? So I need to perform the click operation. So that's why you can perform the click operation in case it is showing some link here, right? In case it is not, then you have to deal with the other way. So I will cover some sessions how to handle other element as well in case it is not showing link. Okay. So here in case the images is showing as a link, so we can't use the partial link test or link test, right? Element locator technique, because for those there is no text available, so we have to use either CSS or XPath. Then we have to identify the element and we have to perform the operation, right? That is the click operation, we can perform it. So if you open the page, sorry, if you run the code, you can see it will open the Chrome browser, maximize the browser, pass the URL for Facebook page, then it will click on the forgotten password link. After that it will click on the Facebook image, right? And so it is going to the Facebook home page, right? So that is the line of code I have written and it's perfectly working fine. Okay. And here before, every time if you want to check the, right, the titles of the page, so you can get the title as well. Driver dot get titles. So every time if I want to check the titles, you can get it. Every time it will give you the titles, how the page is navigating, right? You can run it, so you can console, you can get the title. Okay, so you can see it's perfectly working fine, and right, you can see here first Facebook login or sign up page, because you are opening to the Facebook, then you are clicking on the forgotten password, right? So it will give you the title forgotten password, cannot log in Facebook. Then again after clicking on the image, Facebook image, it is going to the again Facebook home page, right? So that is the reason it is matching Facebook login or sign up page. So that's why you can perform operation. If you want to verify something, you can definitely verify. You can get the titles, you can get the current URL, you can get page source, right? And if you want to perform other operation also, you can verify it, and you can add some loop, right? Yesterday I already showed you to how you can for standalone how can you use if and else condition. If the condition is matching, your test case will be passed. You can print out some output in the console. If the condition is not matching, your condition will be test case will be failed, right? It will be output. I mean it will give you in the consoles. Okay. So is it clear the image operation on image, how you can perform it and how you can identify the element? Hello.
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay, just interrupt me in case you are not able to clear out something, in case any doubt is there. So definitely I will repeat it again. Yeah, the main thing is you have to understand whatever topics will be covered, and you have to, any problems I will repeat it again, no need to worry. Okay. Then I will show you what are the different operations we can perform for a checkbox. You already know, right? There are different boxes there. It can be combo box, right? It can be checkbox, it can be radio buttons, right? In case radio button, right, you only can select only one particular button, right? From a particular option, right? Suppose 4 option is there, but you can select only one option. But in case it is checkbox, combo box, you can select multiple checkbox, right? Suppose 4 box is there, but you can select 4 box as well all the time. Okay. So these are the different operations we can perform for the checkbox in Selenium WebDriver. First, we can select or unselect the checkbox. Suppose if you click one time, it will be selected. Again, if you click one time, so it will be unselected, right? So if you want to select or unselect the checkbox, we have to use the click operation. Similarly, if we want to validate whether it's displayed or not, so we have to use is displayed. Whether the checkbox is enabled or not, we have to use is enable method. Whether the checkbox is selected or not, because this is checkbox. I want to validate whether the checkbox is selected or not at all, right? After the checkbox is selected, you can check it whether it's selected or not. So it will give you true. Again, if you uncheck it, or first time you did not check it, right, it's selected will be false. So here, this is the this is the site, right? If you open the site, you can see there is a checkbox or radio button option is there, right? You can check, right? You can check multiple checkbox. You can see here. Again, if you once if you select, it will be checked, and again if you click, it will be unselected, right? So it will allow you to select all the option or unselect all the option. But in case of radio button, you can only select one value at a time, right? It is not possible to select all the value. That is the basic difference between of radio button and checkbox. Okay. So first you need to give the URL here. You need to pass the URL. So I will comment out this line of code. Okay, I need to pass the URL first here. After the URL is added, right, I need to identify any of the checkbox here. I need to inspect it, right? Okay. So I need to inspect it. How can I inspect it? I need to press F12 button here. F12 button. Then I need to go to the checkbox. Right? You can see if you press here, right? You can see here name ID is coming, right? Value is checkbox 1, right? So if value is not a element locator technique, right? ID name is fine, but here you can see name is common for all the checkbox, so name cannot be unique, right? But here ID is unique, right? You can see if you want to identify with the ID, just press Ctrl F. Here you can see only one match is fine, right? That means it is unique. So I will identify the element with the help of ID. Driver dot find element by dot ID. What is my ID? That is my ID, and I will be storing it some web element, right? So I will be using web element. Here I will be giving the name as checkbox 1. You need to give some suitable name, right, for each and every variable. Otherwise, I mean, in case other user is also doing the same code, he will not able to understand it, right? And even after 2 months, 3 months time, if you want to revisit the code, update code, you will not able to understand. So you need to give some suitable things so that you can easily identify, right? So that's why I am identifying the checkbox 1, right? So once the checkbox 1 is identified, I want to check whether it's displayed or not, right? SYSO variables dot is displayed, right? Then I will check also is displayed, then is enabled dot is enabled, and is selected. So initially it will not be selected, right, because just I am identifying it. Dot is selected, right? So initially it will be everything will be false. So if you run the code, you can see, so it will identify the checkbox 1, right, and after that it will try to print whether it's displayed, is enabled, or is selected. So is displayed will be true, is enabled will be true, and is selected will be false. Okay, so here checkbox is not getting checked because I did not perform any operation, right? I am just first identifying the element. Okay, here you can see the output in the consoles, right? Is enabled, is displayed, is true, is enabled, is true, is selected, is false, right? Is false. Okay, now I want to, right, check it, check the checkbox. So how can I check it? Dot click, right? After that, if you want to, right, check whether it's selected or not, definitely it will be selected. After that, again I want to check it, so it will be unchecked again, and after that is selected will be false. So here I will wait for 3 seconds. Dot sleep, I want to wait for 3 seconds, say, so 3000 milliseconds, right? So first I want to identify the element, then I want to check is displayed, is enabled, is selected. So is selected will be false. I want to click the checkbox, so it will be selected, and here is selected will be true. After that I will wait for 3 seconds, again I will be click on that checkbox, so it will be false, right? It will be unselected and it will be false. So these are the line of code, it will be executed and you can get it in the console. Okay, so first it will not be selected. You can see it's checked, right? It will wait for 3 seconds, it will be again unchecked. It will be clicked again, so it will be unchecked. You can see it's unchecked, right? And if you go to the output in the consoles, right, is displayed is true, is enabled is true, is selected first is false. After that you are clicking, that means checking it, is selected is true. After that you are unchecking it, right? So is selected is false again. So that's why you can check it, right? So I am simply commenting out all the line of code, and here for the checkbox 1 I want to check it. Dot click, right? Similarly I can identify the other element for the other checkbox. This is, suppose this is the checkbox 2 and this is the ID, right? This is the 1. You can see it from here. If you want to identify the checkbox 2, so this is the properties, right? You can see ID is 0, 1 and 2. This is the 3 checkbox ID. So I will be identifying checkbox 2 and I will be clicking it, and also I can identify checkbox 3 and I also click it, so that you can see all the 3 checkbox will be checked, and here it will be 2, id will be 2, and here it will be checkbox 3. This is the variables, right? So 3 checkbox I have identified the all the id, right? This is the first checkbox id is 6-0, 6-1, 6-2. This is the 3 id I have given. I have declared 3 variables, checkbox 1, checkbox 2, checkbox 3. I am clicking all the variable. So it will open the page and it will check all the checkbox one by one, right? So in case it is checkbox, all the checkbox can be selected or unselected. So that will allow you. So it will open the page. You can see it's opening the page. Once the page is fully loaded, you can see all the checkboxes getting checked, right? So that is the beauty of the code, right? If it is checkbox, you can select all the options, right? Okay, you can close it. Okay, now, so these are the different operations we can perform for a checkbox. We can check or uncheck it with the help of click method. We can check whether checkbox is displayed, whether it is checkbox enabled, whether checkbox is selected or not. Okay, so any questions, Ankur?
No, currently not.
Okay, okay, great. So this is the last topic today. I will cover what are the different operations we can perform for radio button in Selenium WebDriver. Just like the checkbox, we can also check whether the radio button is displayed or not, whether it's selected or not, whether it's enabled or not. Because in case it is not enabled, right? In case it is not enabled, we can't check it, we can't select it, right? And if we want to select radio button, we have to click on that. But if we click on the other radio button, so automatically previous one will be deselected automatically, because it is radio button. Only one option it can be selected at the same time. Okay, so here I will inspect any options. Suppose say I will inspect the option 1. You can see here id is 3 option, id is different, right? 7-1, 7-2, 7-3. These are the option 1, option 2 and option 3. You can see this is the text, right? Value. Okay, so I will identify the elements. So let's comment out the code here. So I will be inspecting the element. First I will be inspecting element. I am giving the name as radio button 1, right? And how I can inspect it? So option, you can see the id is VFV-7-1, through which we can inspect the element. This is the option 1, right? And I am storing it the variable radio button -1. Okay, then similar way I can first check whether my radio button is displayed. Option 1 is displayed or not. Radio button 1 dot is displayed, is enabled or is selected. Okay, is enabled, or is selected. Dot is selected. I will first check. So here, so is enabled, definitely is enabled, right? That is the reason we can select it from here, right? We can select it from here. It displayed, yes, but is selected, no, it's not selected by default, right? So it will be give you the false result. And if you want, you can store in other variables, then you can print it out that variables, because it will be boolean, right? Because either true or false. So boolean only give you 2 options. So here you can see now no option I did not selected here, right? It is opening the page, and here in the output you can see first is displayed, yes, is enabled, yes, but is selected, no, because I did not selected it, right? So after that, if you want to select the options, you have to click it, right? Click, and after that if you want to check it whether it's selected or not again, so it will give you the true result, right? So let's comment it out, this line of code. So I want to identify the radio button 1 and I want to check whether it's selected, no, After that I want to click on that, and after that I want to check is selected, it will be true. So if I run the code, so it will open the page. So it will select the option 1. Okay, you can see option 1 is getting selected, right? And here in the output you can see first radio button is selected, no, right? It is giving you false result, and after the radio button is selected, it will giving you true result, right? Now I will identify another radio button. Okay, suppose say radio button 2. Okay, and this ID is for radio button 2. What is the ID? ID is, right, 7-2. The rest is same, so I will be changing it to 2. Okay, so for the radio button 2 I want to check whether it is also true or not. I will changing it to 2. Okay, after that I want to select the radio button option 1, and then also I want to check whether radio button is selected or not. Then I will select radio button 2. Then I want to check whether my both the radio button is, what is the radio button is selected, what radio button, option 1, 2 or 3. So here first I am not selecting anything, no radio button selected, right? Okay, so obviously both will be false. Here I am selecting radio button 1, radio button 1 selected. So what will be the output? So 1 it will be true and 2 will be false, because 2 was not selected, right? After that I am selecting 2. So what will happen? So here output will be, both will be false, right? Both will be false because none of the radio button is selected. And here radio button 2 will be false because 2 is not selected. And here after radio button 2 selected, it will be false, and here it will be true, right? And also after selecting the radio button 2, here it will be true, not the 1. So that will be my output, right? And if you want to check it, let's see it, and I can wait for 2 seconds. Say I will wait for 3 seconds, so that you can see the changing of radio button 1 to 2. Okay, so this first I don't want to select a radio button, so it will give me both the false. Then I will select radio button 1, so it will be giving one option as 2 is selected, but for 2 option is false. Then I am changing the radio button 1 to 2, so it will give me the option 1 is not selected and option 2 is selected, right? And in the meantime it will wait for 3 seconds for changing the options movement. So it will open the page. Once the page is fully loaded, it will select option 1, right? After that you wait for 3 seconds, then it will select option 2. Okay, you can see the moment option 2 is getting selected, right? So my code is working fine in the UI, right? And if I want to get the output in the consoles, so I can check the output, right? The first I have given here false and false, right? So it is counting as false and false. Then true and false. So 1 will be true and 2 will be false, because after selecting the option 1, true and false. Then after selecting option 2, what will be my output? Output will be false and true. So false and true. So that's way you can perform some operation on the radio button, whatever has been mentioned here, right? So that's all for today's session. So today I have covered that what are the different operations we can perform on web page. right? We can get the title, we can get the page source, we can get the current URL, right? We can, I mean, navigate to a from web page to another, right? We can get the web page, we can quit the browser, we can close the browsers, we can navigate backward, forward, we can refresh the page, we can maximize the browser from the API commands. Then for the web edit, we can check whether the field is displayed or enabled or not. We can enter some value in the web edit box, we can clear the value, we can get the attributes of the different types of the web edit box or any field. For the links or hyperlink, we can click the link, we can check whether it's enabled or it's displayed or not. In case it is image also, we can write with the help of CSS or XPath, we can click on the link in case it is enabled or image, right? If it is checkbox, we can check or uncheck, we can check whether it's displayed or enabled or is selected. In case it is radio button, we can also check whether it's enabled, selected, displayed, or also we can move the radio button selection, because it will be only at the same time only one radio button we can select it, but whereas for checkbox we can select or unselect multiple checkbox at the same time. Okay, so that's all for today's session. Thank you for today's session.